Body of Ivy Wangechi, the medical student who was killed in Eldoret, has been transferred to the Kenyatta University mortuary here in Nairobi. Ivy was hacked to death in broad daylight by Naftali Kinuthia. Friends and classmates gathered earlier today at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital's mortuary to bid farewell to a young lady they had interacted with for the last 7 years. Ivy, who was set to graduate in December this year with a medical degree, is said to have maintained high grades throughout her course of study. Investigations into the murder are ongoing.
In a shocking and tragic incident, Ivy Wangechi, a promising medical student, was brutally hacked to death. The details of a gruesome murder have left many in disbelief. Ivy's life was cut short in a senseless act of violence that shook the community to its core. The circumstances surrounding her death are truly heartbreaking. The loss of such bright and talented young woman has left her family, friends and classmates devastated. The impact of this tragedy will be felt for years to come. As the investigation into Ivy murder unfolds, many questions remained unanswered. In April 2019, Ivy Wangechi, a promising medical student, was brutally murdered in broad daylight by a man wielding an axe. As details of this case emerged, it was revealed that Ivy was allegedly killed by a man who had been obsessed with her and has been stalking her for some time. Revealed by the suspect, Naftali Kinuthia, had been stalking Ivy for months leading up to the horrific incident. It is reported that Kinuthia has been obsessed with Ivy and had even proposed to her only to be rejected. This rejection allegedly fueled his anger and ultimately the brutal attack on Ivy. Despite Ivy's attempt to seek help and protect herself, the man's action escalated to a violent and deadly conclusion. To support us, kindly subscribe to our channel and like our video. Don't mind giving us a comment too. Ivy Wangechi, a medical student at Moi University, was brutally murdered by a man wielding an axe in broad daylight at around 10 a.m. The shocking incident sent shockwaves across this country and sparked a conversation about gender-based violence in Kenya. Wangechi, the firstborn of three, was born in April 10, 1994. She was the daughter of Wainaina and Winfred Waithera Kingori, who teaches at Chomo in Gatanga, Murang'a. The father is the principal of Kanjuiri Secondary School in Nyandarua County. Ivy was brought up in a strict Christian background and was a very honest person. She was a decent, hardworking girl. She had a passion for medicine and was inspired by her uncles who were doctors. In fact, she was planning to specialize in neurosurgery as she was following the footsteps of her uncle, Colonel Dr. Charles Mwangi. The suspect and the deceased knew each other since childhood. Naftali Kinuthia, the suspect, confessed to the killing. Kinuthia says he regretted the incident and that he was overwhelmed by anger over what he termed as love relationship gone sour. Naftali said he remembers getting an axe from his car to attack Ivy but noted that he was not himself during the events that followed leading to Ivy's death. Kinuthia said he acted after seeing her long-time friend and intimate lover hugging another man on her birthday when he had traveled all the way from Nairobi to Eldoret to wish her a happy birthday and even paid 14,000 shillings for the birthday party. He traveled to Eldoret on the material day to personally wish Ivy a happy birthday even though their relationship was estranged and that she had blocked him for some time, making it impossible for him to reach her. He says he tried severally to reconcile their differences and communicated to her through a friend identified as Mary Ann Chepkoech. He had asked Chepkoech to convince Ivy that they meet and talk out, but it didn't materialize. Naftali Kinuthia waited for her out of the hospital where she had been doing her practicals before waging an attack on her. So Kinuthia pulled an axe out of his sack and hit Miss Wangechi on the head with it, causing her to fall down. He then used the axe to cut the trainee in the head before taking out a knife and slitting her throat. Members of the public say the anger in which Mr. Kinuthia displayed as he hacked Ms. Wangechi was enormous. Dozens of people had rushed to the scene to rescue her, but he ensured that she was dead before attempting to flee the crime scene. Angry members of the public caught up with him and beat him up. The man was said to be an employee of Nairobi-based betting firm. It took the intervention of the police officers to rescue him from the mob. He had been admitted to the same hospital Miss Wangechi was doing her practicals. Her belongings, including a pen, was still at the crime scene. Members of the public who saw him said he was smartly dressed and no one would have suspected him of any ill motive. To say Ivy was a brilliant student would be an understatement, as her 2011 Kenyan Certificate of Secondary Education shows she had a clean sweep of A's in her national exam. In the academic paper, Ivy scored A's in all her subjects except English, where she got an A-. Her subjects included all three sciences, Christian religious education, and French. When Wangechi was not reading or practicing medicine, he loved motivating her cousins and other children and was such a role model that one of her cousins is pursuing medicine in the University of Nairobi. While at Alliance, Ivy loved teaching Sunday school and was a darling for Sunday school children. Kinuthia, who was admitted at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, claimed he had invested money and emotion on Ivy, but his love and financial kindness was not reciprocated as per his expectations. The girl, according to the suspect, had told him that she was organizing her birthday party. He said he sent her money to arrange the event. Since then, the woman refused to pick his calls. That is what prompted him to travel from Thika to Eldoret. He said he wanted to know why she was ignoring him. When Kinuthia arrived in Eldoret, Ivy continued to decline his calls. He said it got to a point where she switched off her phone. That angered him. He underwent a mental test. He needed to be in a state where he would understand the charges he was facing. The court ordered that Kinuthia, who was composed and kept covering his face to avoid cameras, to be taken for treatment at Moi Referral Hospital. The court was packed. More than 20 relatives of the suspect were present. Exhibits which were collected at the crime scene linking Kinuthia to the scene of crime was present in the court. Among the exhibits were a blood-stained axe, a knife, a sack, a phone, and blood-stained cloth belonging to both the deceased and the accused, as well as Kinuthia personal identification documents. Chief Inspector George Aringo from the Cybercrime and Digital Forensics Laboratory at the DCI headquarters in Nairobi also presented a 417-page document containing communication messages between Kinuthia and Ivy between 2018 to the date of her murder. Before the hearing of the case, Kinuthia had, through his lawyer, written to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, ODPP, seeking a plea bargain. He stated that he was ready to plead guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter, but the requests were turned down by the prosecution and the court twice. The High Court in Eldoret found Naftali Kinuthia guilty of the murder of Moi University's medical student Ivy Wangechi. Justice Ruben Githinji, while delivering his verdict on Thursday, October 26, stated that Kinuthia had intentionally planned the student's death by purchasing an axe for that purpose. The prosecution had proven beyond any doubt that Kinuthia, who killed Ivy in broad daylight, had planned. Additionally, the judge also ruled no evidence proved that accused claims of having a sexual relationship with the slain lady. Kinuthia demanded a refund of 200,000 that he allegedly had spent on her after she refused to give in to his love advances. A witness who requested the court to protect her identity testified that Ivy had on several occasions rejected the suspect's love advances. In court, Ivy's friend testified that Kinuthia was nagging her friend and tried wooing her by buying her gifts and spending money on her. He wanted a relationship, but Wangechi was reluctant. She said at some point after Wangechi refused to yield at Kinuthia's relationship demand, he made a claim. He started sending threatening messages saying he had spent on Ivy and he was going to do something stupid in revenge and that it would end in death. He said that no coin of his would go to waste. He further testified that Kinuthia had stalked Wangechi barely a week before her murder. Ivy told her friend that accusers showed up at the hostel and asked her to get into the car so they could talk, but she was scared and rushed to the hostel and did not get back to him. Ivy's friend dispelled allegations that Wangechi was in a relationship with the key suspect. She told the court the two were childhood friends and had no any other relationship. Another friend also testified that he had known Kinuthia through Wangechi in 2017. She told the court that at one point Wangechi had blocked Kinuthia from texting or calling her, prompting him to lie to her that he had reported Wangechi at a police station in Nairobi for insulting him and that Wangechi was wanted by the police. Kinuthia later confided in this friend that he was lying and asked for forgiveness. With Kinuthia sometime in 2018, when he had bought a car and drove to Eldoret to pick them up to Nairobi as schools were closed, they were headed home. Ivy had protested this idea to pick them up from Eldoret, but he insisted. He then came and gave them a lift to Nairobi and dropped her friend first and dropped Ivy next. Ivy later texted her friend that she got home safely. Later that week, Kinuthia reached Ivy's friend claiming that Ivy had blocked him. Naftali Kinuthia was sentenced to serve a 40 years jail term for murder of medical student Ivy Wangechi in Eldoret. Justice Stephen Githinji said that the offense committed was brutal and called for a harsh sentence against the accused. Ivy's memory will live on the hearts of those who knew and loved her. May she rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on this case and other important issues. Be safe, take care of yourself, and beware of your surroundings. Remember, if it hurts, walk away. Your life is valuable.